When I began my personal quest to uncover the backstory of Elden Ring, my goal was to develop a grand unifying theory that could illuminate the major concepts within the game. Now, after much exploration, I believe that theory has finally come together, and I'm ready to share my insights with the world. This video marks the beginning of a series in which I will explain what I believe ties together the fabric of Elden Ring's lore. Let's start with the Air Tree. On the surface, it's a source of light, a notion the talented Way of Colors subscribes to. But looking deeper, it represents consciousness, intelligence, knowledge, or even enlightenment, which is basically the pursuit and reception of knowledge. In essence, the Air Tree is a tree of knowledge. While this answer could suffice, I know many of you are curious about how I reached the conclusion that the Air Tree is a repository of knowledge. Consider Iji, the loyal blacksmith to the Carian royal family and Lady Rani's war counselor. He offers an early clue about the Air Tree's connection to knowledge. When the Tarnished first meets Iji at the King's Realm rooms, he's found reading a book, clearly seeking knowledge. Notably, Iji's head and eyes are covered by a glass helmet designed to reflect light, and I believe specifically the light of the Air Tree. This suggests that Iji is intentionally shielding himself from the Air Tree's enlightenment, preferring to gain knowledge from his book without interference from the Air Tree. Now, let's look at Lord Godfrey, originally known as Horolo. The name Lo closely resembles lux, the Latin word for light, and is believed to have Germanic roots linked to Lucas, which also means light. More telling is that Horolu carries Serosh, a lion on his back, as a symbol of restraint. In astrology, the lion represents the sun, a source of light. Thus, Horolu, once seen as a barbaric or unenlightened, receives Serosh, the sun, as a source of enlightenment. Serosh's golden glow further emphasizes his role as a light source. When Godfrey tears Serosh from his back to return to his primal nature, it signifies his abandoning of the enlightenment received from the Golden Order, choosing instead to embrace his former, less enlightened self. Now, let's focus on the origins of the Elden Ring and the Air Tree, which are deeply intertwined. According to the game's lore, the Elden Ring is said to derive from a golden star that carried the Elden Beast sent to the lands between by the Greater Will. Interestingly, the item description for the golden star suggests that the Greater Will sent two things, which are a beast and a golden star. This pairing is fascinating as it invokes the story of Lucifer, who was cast down from heaven as a radiant star of light. Lucifer originates from the Latin word lux, which we have already established as a reference to light. He is also known as the light bringer and is associated with forbidden knowledge, a parallel worth noting, though I will set it aside for now. Let's return to the Elden Beast. I suggest that the golden star accompanying its arrival was the true source of its consciousness, intelligence, or enlightenment, a higher spiritual form of wisdom distinct from the more primitive knowledge that came before. This golden light represents a divine intelligence, fundamentally different from the primordial knowledge associated with the red flame of fire, which originated from the fell god. Before the Elden beast's arrival, it was this red flame that served as one of the earliest sources of intelligence in the lands between. The intelligence granted by red light can be seen as a reflection of primitive or basic practical knowledge. Skills like smithing or the use of early pigments such as red ochre, which are linked to the dawn of human cognition. This connection explains why beasts and giants are so often associated with the color red. It symbolizes the primitive wisdom they inherited from fire. In this sense, the knowledge of red light mirrors the foundational understanding that humans developed as they evolved towards higher consciousness. With the coming of the Elden beast and its golden light, a new era of consciousness began. The Elden beast itself visually demonstrates how this higher intelligence spread throughout the lands between. The light at the creature's head represents its source of consciousness or intelligence, which then travels through its body in a network of root-like strands. Notably, the beast's wings suggest that the first beings to receive this enlightenment were creatures of the air, such as dragons and birds. This is supported by what we see in Farum Azula, where dragons and birds abound, and where Placidusax, the first Elden Lord, is implied to have been the initial lord for the Elden Ring or Elden Beast's intelligence. Beneath the wings, the Elden Beast has fins, indicating that aquatic life was the next to interact with this divine intelligence. Finally, its tail ends in what looks like plant roots, symbolizing that the land itself, which serves as the anchor for plant life like trees, became the last recipient of the Elden Beast's intelligence. So, one could actually interpret the Elden Ring as the creation of knowledge that governs the air, water, and land. I believe this is why the Elden Beast cast only 3 rings during its battle with the Tarnished in the Air Tree. My explanation for the 4th ring we find in the Golden Order's version of the Elden Ring is that perhaps there was an eventual addition of intelligence governing the heavens, which can be associated with fire or ether, which I have already pointed out relates to primordial consciousness. But how does one acquire these types of knowledge or intelligence or even enlightenment in the lands between? I believe the answer lies in the eyes. Take Gideon for example. In the game's opening cinematic, grace is bestowed upon several Tarnished, including Gideon. And his grace is depicted on the eye found on the chest piece of his armor. His armor is also decorated with eyes, and we find him in the round table hold, constantly studying and seeking knowledge. After all, he's known as Gideon, the all-knowing. Notably, his scepter features a pearl, symbolizing the world and the heavens, and most importantly, while discussion, an eye representing the many forms of knowledge, always just out of reach. Now is a good moment to explore the connection between the astrologers and fire giants. According to item descriptions, both groups once lived atop mountains. During this period, the astrologers gained knowledge by observing the light from celestial bodies such as the moon and stars. This enlightenment came through visual observation, which is why they relied on telescopes. In a similar way, fire giants acquired their understanding of fire or red light through their eyes. Clearly, the eye is central to the acquisition of knowledge, especially knowledge derived from light. It is remarkable that the Elden Ring's design, as seen on the game's cover, features arcs which can be traced out into circles of different sizes that form an eye. Compare what I have described to Godwin's eye, or consider how Rani's third eye is formed by the intersection of two circles. It is possible that each ring, or as we have already established, elements such as air, water, land, and fire of the Elden Ring itself is an eye acting as a vessel for the intelligence governing each element. Observe that the giant seal also combines a triangle, square, circle, and an eye at the center, reminiscent of the eye of providence, a symbol of divinity and enlightenment. So where does the air tree fit into all of this? To answer, we need to explore the symbolism of trees across various myths and religions. For instance, Buddha is said to have attained enlightenment after meditating under a tree for 49 days, enlightenment being a form of divine knowledge. Similarly, Adam and Eve gained divine knowledge after eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge. Odin hung upside down on Yggdrasil, the world tree, to gain wisdom from the underworld. Even in my own experience growing up in northern Ghana, elders would gather under the revered baobab tree to discuss important matters. The tree itself symbolizing a place for acquiring wisdom. These examples highlight that trees are seen as places of acquiring enlightenment across cultures and beliefs. Given this perspective, the air tree emerges as a central gathering place for those in search of the enlightenment offered by Marika's Elden Ring. Much like the revered baobab tree in certain cultures, the air tree serves as a symbolic site where individuals receive the blessing of the Elden Ring, which resides within it. The relationship between the air tree and the Elden Ring is deeply significant, especially for the Tarnished, so it's important to consider how they are connected. The Tarnished was originally bestowed with grace by Marika, only to lose it and be cast out from the lands between. In the world of Elden Ring, grace is often depicted as a light within the eyes, a metaphor for enlightenment or knowledge. Therefore, the grace seen in the Tarnished's eyes can be understood as wisdom or illumination drawn from the light of the Elden Ring housed in the air tree. This interpretation helps clarify Marika's purpose in creating the Tarnished. I believe Marika's intention was for the Tarnished to return to the lands between, seeking new forms of enlightenment and understanding. When they die, the knowledge they have acquired is returned to the air tree. If they repeat their previous choices, they simply restore the original wisdom they received. However, if they choose differently, they bring fresh insights back to the Air Tree. This ongoing cycle of gaining and retaining knowledge is what I believe the game refers to as memories being carved into the Air Tree. After all, memories represent the accumulation of experience and learning over time. To summarize, the golden star that carried the Elden beast was a vessel of consciousness or intelligence, representing spiritual enlightenment rather than the basic practical knowledge found in the lands between or our own world. Before the Elden beast and the golden star arrived, other forms of intelligence existed, such as those derived from fire or red light. Fire giants and many beasts relied on this primordial intelligence, which is linked to fundamental skills like smithing and echoes the early stages of human evolution. The coming of the Elden beast and its golden light marked the decline of primordial intelligence and the rise of spiritual enlightenment. This era associated with golden light can be seen as a golden age of civilization. Marika's doctrine of this golden age spread through the Air Tree, which became a symbolic place for enlightenment, reminiscent of the tree under which Buddha attained spiritual wisdom. We also established that the Elden Ring was originally linked to 3 elements: air, water, and land. As shown by the 3 overlapping rings the Elden beast creates during its battle in the Air Tree. The current form of the Elden Ring may reflect Marika's addition of a 4th element, fire or ether, often associated with the heavens. Thus, the 4 rings can be interpreted as the intelligence or consciousness governing the 4 elements of nature: air, water, land, and fire. In this sense, the Elden Ring can be viewed as a great eye, a repository for receiving and sharing wisdom. Finally, the process of acquiring intelligence or enlightenment in the lands between primarily occurs through the eyes, as seen in Sir Gideon's armor, Lord Godfrey's connection to Sir Rosh, and the symbol on the fire giant's seal. Stay tuned for the next part of this series, where the mysteries of Marika and Radagon will be explored. Please don't forget to subscribe and engage with the channel to follow along with future insights. See you in the next video.